Yo, no 20-point lead this playoffs have been safe at all. Yo, what up, y'all? Look, literally, I was 2 minutes away. Well, not 2 minutes. I was literally 2 quarters away from naming this video. Giannis Antetokounmpo, you are now a New York Knick. Literally, like, I was already framing up what I was going to call it. And that was going to be the title. Because the Knicks were absolutely getting popped the first half. But then Cat happened in the fourth quarter. The Cat we all been waiting for. The Cat that we've been wanting to see. The Cat that everybody been saying, this is how he needs to show up every single night. Showed up in the fourth quarter and put up 20 points in the quarter. I was ready to pawn him and Josh Hart in whatever trade needed to happen for Giannis to come to New York. But he put it together. And this is the greatest thing about basketball. Number one, yo, no 20-point lead this playoff, Josh Hart, in whatever trade needed to happen for Giannis to come to New York. But he put it together. And this is the greatest thing about basketball. Number one, yo, no 20-point lead this playoffs have been safe at all. Not one. It doesn't matter because in today's NBA, the pace of space, yo, it doesn't matter. People are shooting 10, 23s, 30, 40, 50, 60, like 73s a game. That was unheard of before. A 20-point lead now is like a 10-point lead, especially if you hit a couple in a row and get a couple of stops, you right back in the game. And that's what happened tonight. I can't believe Indiana sold how the Knicks sold in game 1. Indiana sold in game 3. The first half, it was weird. The first half was weird, but I feel like it's like that. If you're a team on the brink of elimination and you're like the Knicks trying to fight for your life and figure out how to stay alive, personally, I expected them to play the starters 48 minutes. I did. He surprised me. He surprised me by not playing them 48 minutes and actually giving Landry Shamet minutes. Throwing Deuce McBride more minutes. Even throwing, I almost said Darrell Wright. Man, which Wright brother? DeLon Wright. Like, even throwing them in, I'm like, this is not usual Thibs basketball. Thibs' usual basketball is run them till they're done. And I expected that in game 3. But heady thinking by Thibs to actually not do that and actually put other players in. I was surprised. Okay, in the beginning, it was clunky. They started with the new starting lineup. They threw Mitch in instead of having Hart. I don't think it helped or hurt, but I do think it gave a different look. And Siakam got off to a lot slower start because of having 2 bigs in. He had Cat and Mitch, so by the time he made a move, he's turning into one of the bigs instead of turning into Mikal Bridges or OG or Hart when it's much easier to shoot over. So I do think it made a difference. Not as big difference as like a blowout, but it made a difference in the way Siakam started the game. And the Knicks just, at some point, it was just bad. Brunson started disgusting. Disgusting start for JB. Besides getting to the free throw line, I mean, he was 2 for 10 in the first half. He had 8 free throws, which allowed him to get up to like 10 points before half. But he wasn't really doing nothing. He wasn't playing well. He was in foul trouble. He couldn't find his spots and his places. And he was just missing. And this goes back to what I feel like I was saying in the last video, is that, sometimes having a score first point guard is tough, because if they're not hitting, then nobody else is hitting. And then you're switching up all these lineups and putting in all these other players who really haven't played together all season. It makes it even more, I feel like, just hard. Hard for Brunson to get his buckets. Hard for Cat to get his buckets. He only had 4 points in the whole first half. And I feel like Mitch being in with Cat doesn't allow Cat to drive the hoop, because Mitch can't stretch the floor. So Cat is trying, literally the first 2 times he had the ball, air ball, threw one over the rim on the left-hand side, air ball, threw one over the rim on the right-hand side, and literally right there in the way is Mitch. So Cat can't get the ball and turn, face up, turn, and go around somebody and get to the layup, because Mitch is standing directly in the way. But I think all these clunky lineups just really made that first half for New York just disgusting. It was bad. It was bad. And then the Pacers, they started off slow, but then they started clicking. Everybody's knocking down shots. Turner's knocking down shots. Halliburton's hitting shots. Nembhard's hitting shots. Naismith is hitting shots. Everybody's hitting shots, and Indiana builds this thing to a 20-point lead. Now, I'm in my group chats. I'm in group chats with so many Knicks fans. They're like, I'm about to turn the TV off. Oh, this game over. Let's trade for you. Well, I started the Giannis, you are New York Knicks. You are a New York Knicks campaign. But that's beside the point. Everybody was ready to give up. And I was like, no 20-point lead is safe in the NBA. And before you knew it, right before halftime, they cut the lead down 13, which is huge. You going to halftime with you down 20 points is a very different game than being down 13 points. Because if you're only down 13 points, that is 4 threes, 12 points, you back in the game. You come out hot, you're right back in the game. And it doesn't matter. And I feel like Indiana let go. They stay off the gas. They let off the gas. And I said in the last video, literally, I'm like, Indiana gotta keep the gas the entire game. They gotta press, they gotta push, and they gotta kill them. You can't. The New York Knicks are too resilient to allow the Pacers just to run them out the building, and they showed that. It wasn't the starters tonight though. It was the ancillary, like them secondary, the secondary dudes you put in the game that figured out. Like I'm like, we getting Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright minutes. And we in the conference finals, and it's 7 minutes left in the second quarter. I didn't think it was going to be a good outcome, because for so much of that game, there's one matchup. It wasn't really a head-to-head matchup, but it was two players I was watching. From the last video, I said Josh Hart. Number one, Josh Hart needs to be that glue guy that does everything: boards, steals, putbacks, kickouts, tip passes, all of that. He needs to be that. He wasn't that in the first half. Once again, I still find myself like, what's going on with Josh Hart? But then on the other side, the other person that I feel like is the glue person for Indiana is TJ McConnell. He's going to do all the little things. He's going to get to the hoop. He's going to lay the ball up. He's going to find an open man. He's going to hustle for loose balls, dive on the ground. He's going to grab rebounds. And I feel like he severely outplayed Josh Hart the first half. And boy, he was out there coming off them, hitting the middies looking like prime Duke JJ Redick. I'm like, why is this man not missing these mid-range shots? Boy, his 2K rating is on 1,000. He was smacking them joints. And I'm like, dog, this is insane. But look, Josh Hart, welcome to the series. Welcome to the party. Because we've been waiting for you. And the second half, third quarter, fourth quarter, you showed up. And dog, did the New York Knicks need you so bad. They said it on the broadcast. Grown man rebounds, running around the court, causing havoc, making everything happen. And that's what the New York Knicks need to win. They need Josh Hart to be that Swiss Army. They need Josh Hart to, basically I don't mean to compare him, but they need him to be Draymond Green. They need him to be the do-it-all person that gets things done, does the dirty work, and makes the right plays continuously. I don't know what happened in the other couple games, but it seemed like he was back. And he had so many key rebounds down the stretch. Fast forwarding through the third quarter, I ain't gonna lie, the fourth quarter was so good, I don't remember what happened in the third quarter. All I remember that it was back and forth. But as soon as the fourth quarter hit, Cat opened up the fourth quarter with 4 straight buckets. 4 straight buckets. I was geeked up. And I'm not even a huge Knicks fan, but I just like good basketball. I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm geeked up. I'm geeked up in the house screaming at the TV. I am screaming at the TV. I am a half Knicks fan because I got a bet in for the Knicks to win a championship. I need that. That's some rent that need to happen. But I was geeked up because Cat had the space. Jalen Brunson was out with 5 fouls, so I feel like Cat had the space to be Cat, to be who we all know Cat to be, a dynamic offensive threat that can take over at any moment. And sometimes I feel like when him and Jalen Brunson are on the court, it's so Jalen focused and not as Cat focused, so he has to pick and choose his spots. Jalen shoots about 23, 24 shots a game. Cat shooting 16, 17. If that can even out, I feel like Cat gets more touches and then they can evenly distribute the scoring. But Cat had time by himself to get buckets. And I was saying that the whole first half, Miles Turner cannot check Cat. Yes, they're the same height. But Cat, once he dips his shoulder, gets to the bucket, and gets to where he wants to be at, he couldn't stop him. He couldn't stop him. And I knew he couldn't. And it just took him, I guess, just to realize, like, dog, he can't stop me to go at him. He hits him, go in, shoulder bump, layup. Come back through, left hand, layup, and one, foul. Gets open, knock down 3. Then at that point, like I said last game, once somebody gets comfortable, you get a couple layups, you hit some threes, and you in that groove. Now you just out there doing whatever. You out there doing 2K moves. Now Cat is over here doing the step back threes on 2 defenders and knocking them joints down. And there was nothing the Pacers could do about it. They tried to fight back. Siakam hit a couple shots. I remember at like 9:20, Siakam hit a shot, and I'm like, okay, this might be, if Siakam can battle Cat back and forth, then okay, this game might end up swinging back Indiana's way. But it was all New York basketball. And the crazy part is the lineup that they had in was absolutely, I wouldn't even put that lineup in 2K. It was Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright, Deuce McBride. It had to be OG Anunoby and Karl Thompson. Let me make sure. I'm going to make sure that's right. Because I literally wrote, no. It was McBride, Wright, Shamet, Mitch, and Hart. Wait, hold up. Never mind. That's a totally different lineup. This is the lineup that brought them back. McBride, Wright, Shamet, Mitch, Hart. The defense and the hustle on that lineup was crazy. And that's when they cut that lead down right before Karl Anthony Towns came in and went absolutely nuclear on that. That bench was hungry. Thank God we don't got to go through campaign minutes anymore. No offense to campaign, but we don't got to go through those minutes no more. But I knew the game was over when Cat got the ball, came down the lane, bumped Miles Turner off with the right, came through with the left, punched it on them hard, scream, and one. There's these little momentum shifters, and there's little things that happen, and you could tell by the body language of the Pacers that they felt like they were on their heels. Their body language was like, and New York's energy was up, and JB wasn't even back in yet. And I kind of give credit to Thibs, number one, for being able to have the guts to not play up players 48 minutes and putting in all these other players that haven't really got playoff minutes this year and allowing them and trusting them to get the job done. And then having your star player, granted he was in foul trouble, but he sat him out for a long time. He didn't come back until like 2 minutes left. Most coaches not letting their star leader of the team sit out for that long and then come back. And JB wasn't having a good game this game. I think that was the ugliest 21 points I've ever seen JB get in my life. And Indiana gave that game away. That's another game. That's a game you got to win. Like I said, it was a must win for the Knicks and it was a must win for Indiana. And whoever came out with enough dog in them and enough fight in them to win that game, we're going to be the ones that won. Whoever didn't give up, I mean, of course, like, I'm not saying like it's rocket science, but for real, whoever was going to take the most punches in the mouth and come back, and the Knicks got punched in the mouth by 20 and came back and still won, that's a testament to grit and just determination to not go down 0-3, to not have your season end like that. And the end of the game, it was over for me after that. After the Cat stepped back, after the Cat dunked on them hard, that was it. I didn't like the last possessions by the Pacers. I didn't like the action between Miles Turner and Halliburton on the last play. It didn't feel smooth. It didn't feel good. Credit to the New York Knicks defense for just locking up and sticking on Halliburton like that. I just don't feel like it was a good shot. I mean, you live with it. He was open, but he caught it. I feel like he thought about it for a second, because if he would have caught it and went straight up, it probably wouldn't went in. I feel like he caught it and like for a quick millisecond, he thought about it, shot it, but then Mitch was already contesting. In that situation, I want Halliburton or I want Siakam taking that shot, not Miles Turner. But this kind of changes the series a little bit. I wouldn't say it changes it a lot, but it makes it more interesting. I still think Game 4 is a must-win for New York. The pressure is on New York, but also the pressure is on Indiana, because now in the back of your mind, you didn't seal the deal. So you're now taking it one game at a time rather than like, okay, let's finish this game and let's move on, get ready to move on to the series. Now you're worried about the Knicks coming back for Game 4 and winning that game And then the series is 0-0. The series gets 0-0. It's a 3-game series. Anything can happen. And you lost all momentum that you built up from stealing their home court. So, hey, man, this is basketball. Basketball, I love basketball. I love it. I love it, and I'm having so much fun talking about it. I will sit here and talk to myself about this. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what game 4 is. I'm excited to see how Brunson comes back out after having a rough game. Cat kind of had a rough game, but came alive in the fourth quarter. Siakam did okay. He had 16, 17 points, and Halliburton did okay. But I want to see how both teams come out in game 4 and what adjustments they make. But more than anything, Cat, you saved yourself from being a Milwaukee Buck. You and Josh Hart saved yourselves from being a Milwaukee Buck. That is in my opinion. I don't know if the Knicks would have really did it, but this was a Cat survival game. Karl Anthony Towns' survival game is what this was.